Warning, the amount of coffee in this video is too goddamn high. Also, skip to around 6:48 for the actual add-on talk to start. Wait, UI talk. Yes, something like that. Enjoy!
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ricky aka Rogath of the Black Blood Brewery, and I want to start this video out god damn it, I can't talk. I want to start this video out by apologizing for me 2 weeks in a row not having uploaded a video on Monday, even though it clearly states on our YouTube page that I was god damn it, what the hell, I should be uploading. It clearly what the hell. It clearly states excuse me, that I should be uploading on Mondays, which is the plan, but the thing is, I still do not have a webcam, as I stated on our Facebook page. Please check that out, by the way. And I probably won't have one till after Christmas, but until then I'm going to try to come up with ideas for videos such as this one, where I don't really need a webcam. And before we go on like saying, well, you don't need a webcam, I feel like I do, and you'll see why eventually when I get to those videos, when I do get a webcam. Anyway, so in this video, no wait, I also want to apologize for us not having uploaded a podcast episode for 2 weeks now, I think. But the reason for that is that we kind of feel like at the end of the day, we're not gonna have enough to talk about, since we're currently not rating and anything like that. We still haven't got to that. We don't really have enough things that we can talk about for the podcast to be interesting. I mean, it would be like a 10-minute podcast, and that's just not cool. So what I will do instead is that in my videos, other than what the plan already is, I will be talking about news as well, whenever there is something I feel like is worth talking about. Anyway, let's get to this video. In this video, the plan is to show you guys a little bit, and girls of course, a little bit about custom UI creation and configuration and so on and so forth. A few questions you might be asking yourselves or want to ask me is, when am I ready to actually create my own custom UI out of certain add-ons that I choose myself? Well, that's a hard question to answer, but if I'm gonna have to, the only thing I can really say is whenever you feel motivated for it. You should know, however, because a lot of people are acting like, oh my god, setting up your own custom UI is like freaking programming stuff, and no, it's not at all. This is way more simple than programming. I can tell that by looking at what other people do when they program. I know a few people who are into programming, and they're just amateurs, but that is way more complicated than this. This is not even complicated at all once you get used to it. Anyway, another question you might want to ask yourself is, should I get a custom UI? Should I download a custom UI package, or should I create my own, or should I just keep the standard one? Again, it depends on what reason. Not again, I didn't say this before, but the answer for that is it depends why you want to have a custom UI. I mean, if it's just for the looks, that's personally why I did it. But if it's just for moving around frames and stuff, you can do that now with the standard one, so that wouldn't be worth downloading a whole package for. What add-ons should you choose to have in a custom UI of your own? That depends what you feel like you should have. I mean, there's a lot of things that are just really changing the looks of the game, and you shouldn't download those if you don't even like them. Simple as that. Anyway, what I'll start off by doing is show you all my few tunes here, because like any other cool player, I should do that. So let's start with our DK here. My DK was level 90. This is my main. I'm level 381. That's uber high, but I'm okay with it for pre-rating. And there's my paladin that I'm currently leveling. Just kind of lost motivation for the day. It's level 84. And then I have my, he has full leveling here, by the way. Well, since he's above 80 now, I switched a few of them because they only go up to level 80. And then we have Rogath here, which is my priest, which is a healer. He's got full leveling. Well, he's got all the leveling here that gives experience. Then I've got Sargoon here, which is my monk, which I was actually planning on rolling a healer, but I feel like tank and DPS monk is just way more fun. I'm not quite sure which spec I'm gonna go yet of the tank and DPS, but we'll see as we get there, as we move on with it. Then I got self-transmog, which, because I couldn't come up with a name for the druid, but I thought, hey, I love the transmog idea, the whole concept, and I thought, well, druids change their form all the time, so that's kind of self-transmog. So I called him self-transmog. He's got no leveling gear whatsoever yet. Planning on leveling him as feral, because I was gonna actually level him as an assassin kind of dude with my friend Crazy, who's also a part of our YouTube channel. As assassins where we just 2-man all the dungeons, but I think we kind of repelled from that idea. So I'm probably gonna end up leveling him as a healer or a tank. Most likely healer though. Or balance. I'm not actually quite sure because I love balance druids, but they're really low in DPS compared to the other classes this expansion. Then I've got Rogath here, which is my warrior, my first character, the one I leveled up to get to my DK here. And he's definitely a protection warrior. He's currently missing some gear because I sent the leveling gear over to this guy, but I'm going to send it back once this guy reaches level 85, and then I'm going to have it on this guy, obviously. Then I've got Rogath here, which is my warlock. I originally leveled him to be my caster DPS, but I thought warlocks were really boring, so I didn't really do it anyway. And I actually started leveling this guy as Shadow Priest, but I thought, fuck it, I want to heal stuff, so I made him a Holy Priest instead. Anyway, that's not really the point of the video, but I just thought any cool player does that. So yeah, but now that we're done with that, I'm gonna actually move on with the point of the video. Now, first of all, I'm gonna show you my list of add-ons here, and I'm gonna tell you why I have them, so you can kind of judge for yourself. I mean, do you want those or not? That's kind of the point. First of all, we've got excuse me, we've got add-on control panel, which is just a really nice add-on to have. I don't personally use it very much, but the more add-ons you have, the better it is, the nicer it is to have. What it does is it pretty much allows you to enable or disable add-ons in game, so you don't have to log out to your character selection screen every time you want to enable or disable an add-on. You can also load never before loaded add-ons in game if that is needed. It kind of gives you more control over the entire game, the entire add-on list, actually, just that. So that's why I'm saying that the more add-ons you have, the nicer it is to have. Bag Brother is a part of the Bagnon package, which is really nice to have because it replaces your standard bags in a way that makes it look like one giant bag, which just gives you more control over all your items, over your entire inventory. Which I just really like this because I just like things that gives me more control over my own games and characters. Then we got Bartender 4, which replaces your excuse me, your standard action bars, and it allows you to place a lot more of them out on your screen as well. I don't use that many of the bars available, but some people do, and it makes it an even nicer add-on to have. Since Blizzard doesn't by standard offer you that many action bars. I originally rolled with Dominoes, which does kind of the same thing, but I deleted it by mistake while deleting many other add-ons. And I was gonna find it again, but I forgot the name, so I just went through the most downloaded add-ons because I knew it was one of them. But Bartender 4 popped up earlier, and I knew it did the same thing, so I just thought, fuck it, I'll download this one. Then we got Chatter, which kinda, you know, it replaces your standard chat frame with, as it says here, lightweight chat improvements. The main reason I have it is because it shows the clock of the time of every message. I'm not actually sure if it uses seconds as well, but at least hour and minute. And it allows you to move around, move your add-on around a lot more, which is something that I just really like personally because of reasons I'll show you later. Then we have Grid here, which is a replacement to your party and raid unit frames, which excuse me, which is really nice because it makes the frames a lot smaller. The frames are a lot smaller than the standard ones, and I really like that because I don't want it to fill up my whole freaking screen, and it allows you to move them around a lot more in a lot more compact way. So it's really nice to have. I mean, I absolutely love this add-on. Just for the looks as well. Big scrolling battle text, excuse me, is a really just not important add-on at all. But I have it purely because it text of incoming and outgoing damage and healing is, well, yeah, it just looks a lot better in my opinion with this add-on than it does by standard. So that's why I had this one. I love it. Gives you a more cartoon feel as well in some ways, in my opinion. The options for it. Then we have recount, which everyone knows, which records damage and healing. Done. And I see this as a requirement for a raider to have, because then you can see if anyone's slacking or not, especially if you're a raid leader. I mean, I'm not the raid leader, excuse me, for my guild, but I kind of consider myself some kind of co-guild master. I kind of see myself as a co-raid leader as well. So I have this as well for that reason, other than just seeing my own DPS, because I want to know if people are slacking, and it's really easy to see both healing wise and damage wise. Sexy map is an add-on that was suggested to me by a friend of mine, a classmate as well. Just because it replaces it doesn't really replace your standard minimap, but it adds more stuff to it that SSS right here spices it up. Excuse me, god damn it, I'm coughing a lot today. And it just gives a cooler feel to your minimap, it makes it look better. And I'm not even sure if you can move around your standard minimap, but if you can't, then this one allows you to do that as well, which is really nice. Skinner is the main part of my creations, of my UI setup, because it just makes everything look sorted rather than just being placed randomly, because so that sounded stupid, but you know what I mean, I hope. Excuse me. Yeah, like I said, it makes everything just look sorted, and that's why it's my main. It's the main part of my UI. Then we have Whim, which is sort of a messenger. I guess a messenger field, like it says right here, to your whispers, and I'll show you that in a screenshot as well that I have that I'll show you later. Sort of it's not as big frames as it is on MSN, because obviously there's not enough space for the frame to be equally big, but it does give you a frame for every person that whispers you, which is really nice, because it's just like Skinner, but in a different way, a totally different way. It makes everything seem more sorted, or your whispers seem more sorted, just because of the messenger feel. One note though, when you're in combat, the frame does not pop up, which is kind of nice in some ways, but it may take away your ability to actually notice some whispers. I've experienced that several times, but however, after a combat, it pops up again, just kind of with a delay, so that you get the whisper in a frame anyway. But sometimes you miss the whispers anyway. Extra unit frames is what I use for my character frame, my target frame, my target frame, my focus target frame, and my focus target my focus target's target frame. And I did not use those for party and raid frames because I really just don't like them. I like raid a lot better, but I really like the other frames that I was talking about that I mentioned, because it just makes everything seem more alive and just look cooler. Most of what I have actually is just because it makes it look cooler. But this one especially. Then we have, originally actually I picked this add-on up because it allowed me to move around my frames, but now you can do that with the standard one. So that, again, if that's your reason for downloading XBRL, it's a stupid reason, because it just takes up space in that case. Last add-on I have is Deadly Boss Mods, which there's not much to say. It helps you during raids. It's a requirement for any raider that is anywhere near serious. So yeah, That's really why I have it. I did switch around the abilities that pop up that you have to notice the position of those just because it matches my UI better. But that's about it. Some of one note by the way about the X-Pearl, some of the parts of the add-ons are or parts of the add-on are disabled just because I don't use those. The raid frames are actually enabled here for some reason. I guess I just forgot to disable them, but they're disabled in game thanks to add-on control panel. Anyway, let's move in game, and I'll show you why I use the things that I do. Alright, so before you laugh at my very, very poorly drawn screenshot here, just know that this is so that I can keep a better track of everything. Okay, so I decided to do this, yeah, pretty much, because I decided to do this through a screenshot rather than through video, because I just thought this would be easier. I don't know why I thought this would be easier, but now I've gone so far with it that I don't want to take it back. Excuse me. Jesus Christ, I'm dying. Okay, so we're gonna go with in the same order as we did earlier. First of all, add-on control panel is the one that is marked with the blue. And as you can see, there's a lot of options there. Well, not really, but you can either disable all instantly or enable all instantly. You can make sets of enabled and disabled add-ons, and you can you can take away the check thing on every add-on to disable them. When you do that, or when you enable add-ons that you have previously disabled, you gotta remember to press reload UI. Otherwise, it doesn't really work. Excuse me. But as you can see, you can enable or disable add-ons, which, as I said, was really nice, or is really nice. Then we have back and on and back, rather, all that stuff which is marked with red. There's a little bit of it that I didn't actually mark in red, but whatever. I hope you pretty much know that that's a part of it. And as you can see, it looks really great because it lets you have everything in one giant bag, and it's awesome. There's other add-ons that does the same thing, but I've been using this for years, so there you go. Then we have, what is next on the list actually? That is Bartender 4, which is obviously the bars, also the micro menu below grid, which is marked in yellow, but those are pretty nice, and I'm gonna go to the UI configuration later, but this is just to get a clear overview. And as you can see, I've moved them a little bit to the left. I don't know if you can actually see that. I don't know if you actually remember the normal position of those, but I've moved all the other bars a little bit to the left and made them smaller and all that kinds of crap. Then we have chatter, which is obviously the chat add-on to the right, which again I did not mark that because it was kind of obvious. And as you can see, I'll actually show that later. But yeah. And then we have, what is the next one? That is grid, which is the whole thing marked in yellow. As you can see, there's one line with my name in it, which is not really that important. But yeah, actually, green part is the grid as well. The one marked in green. That is kind of stupid that I marked those in two different colors. But okay, the yellow is kind of what it would look like. It's very badly drawn, remember that, but that's kind of what it would look like if there were 25 people in my group. And the green part is the options for it. And one thing you gotta really notice is how I've actually marked a specific option in yellow. I have no clue why I marked that in yellow and not green. But anyway, it's really, Jesus Christ, I'm bad at this actually now that I look at it myself. But anyway, it says basically orientation of frame is vertical, which is what makes it look like that, the way it does the other yellow part. If it was horizontal, it would just be switched around so that if I had 5 people in my group, it would just be the one bar very far to the left that was filled out. Whereas the way I have it right now, vertical, when I have 5 people in my group, there's actually all those 5 bars. Which is nice in my opinion. Really nice. It's just a matter of personal preference, really. Not much else to say about that. Because that's just pure fact. Mixed cooling battle text, I can't actually show you that, but I went through that anyway. Recount is to the very left, and as you can see, it records damage done and DPS. Sexy map is on the very top middle. You can't really see that too well in this screenshot right here, but it's there anyway. Skinner is the whole black thing in the bottom, which just makes everything look sorted, as I mentioned. Whim is hard to see. Actually, it's not on there. But it just looks like Messenger in a smaller edition, really. It has the smileys and everything there. Next Pearl, just the one marked in purple, which is awesome. So there you go. That's the screenshot. Now I'll go through my actual configuration of this whole entire thing. Alright, so to put things simple, what I started out with was I took my micro menu through bartender. Jesus Christ. Bartender 4 here, I took away the lock of the bars, and I moved that around. As you can see, you can move them around freely, almost. It kind of has a set position, whereas if you move it to a certain point, it just auto moves a little bit further, like as such here. It moves all the way to the right. All of a sudden, it just instant moves completely to the right. And what I did was I kind of messed around with it right here, and I moved it slower and slower until it kind of locked in place right here, which is the exact middle of my screen. Which just was like, if it wasn't for this, I would have had to spend a lot more time with it all. So it's really great that it did this on its own. My bar 1, which is where I have my Howling Blast and Obliterate and all those abilities, was there already. That's actually just a replacement of the standard bar, the main bar that you have, you know, with the cool design made by Blizzard and all that, and both sides of it. But I made it a bit smaller and moved it fully to the left, because you know, when you make it smaller, it stays in the middle sort of. But I moved it completely to the left, and all my other bars took and made them smaller and put them on top of it, so it looked better. Recount it just placed to the very left of it, because you know, as such, because it looks very nice. Chatter I made into a certain size, and I moved it completely to the right. One thing you want to notice around bar 1 in the micro menu is that there's a part of Skinner that is a bit more black than the other parts, or the other part. And that's because it's a set border. You cannot move stuff below this border, and it's a border set by Blizzard, really. And the reason why I had chatter is because of this. Because the standard chat thing, you cannot move that below the border. But you can with this, and I've actually done that, despite it not looking like it. I've moved it so far below it that the part that I write is actually below the border, as you can see right here, as such. Because it just looked better because you had the whole frame there, but the part that you type in is below the border, and you can still see what's being typed. Now you may wonder why I even mentioned that, but the thing is, if you take it and unlock it and move it below the border, some of the text is actually hard to read, and obviously if you move it too far below the border, you can't see what you're typing. So I do this because of the looks. Really. Again, it looks better this way. I'm just gonna move it precisely where about that. Okay, so there's a lot of bars that I don't have activated. I don't have bar 5 to bar 10. I do not have enabled, and that's because I don't need them. Next thing I did was I placed the first frame of grid just exactly below the very left of my micro menu and the border, and that fits with 5 people. It fills out the entire width of the micro menu as well, which just it looks great. Next thing I did was I took my sexy map right here and I moved it just about the middle of my screen as well to make it look better again. And then what I did was I took my X-Pearl, my own frame, I moved that to the side. I moved it so it fit with the very bottom right corner of my own frame, matched the very top left corner of grid, where when I have 5 people in my group, my target frame fits so that the very bottom left corner of that fits the very top right corner of grid, and my target of target fits so that the very left top corner of that is in the very bottom left corner of the actual character's face. Again, just for the looks, it's what fits me. Obviously, it depends what fits you depending on what person you are. But this is what I did. But that's pretty much it. You know, my background, I just move around with that depending on how much space I feel like I have on my screen at that certain point. And as you can see right here, as I said, external rate frames are what? It's actually enabled here. But it doesn't matter though. You can disable those when you're in a raid group. The thing pops up here where you can hide your raid frame. So that's why at the end of the day. And I definitely recommend you to do that if you are using grid. But obviously I have a lot of the add-on menus right here where I can just click them, and you know, here I have a list of whoever I've whispered while I've been online for this period. Then I have grid right here. I can click it and then I can move around with it. I'm not going to do that. My calendar as always, my tracking device thing, my deadly boss mods, my bartender, my Skinner. There's a lot of things there that I do not want to mess around with because I'm actually quite a noob at this, but I just thought I'd do this because I've spent a lot of people would not spend very much time on this, but I actually spent approximately 3 hours setting up this UI. So if you're new at this, it may be very much more difficult than it looks like. Anyway, I believe that is about it. Yeah. Actually, hold on, I'll just show you Whim right here. There you go. Looks like this, and then you have the options to either, you know, you can look at the location, which is unknown, because the guy is, I don't know actually, it hasn't loaded yet, I guess. You can invite the person to the party, and you can ignore the user. But it's also really nice for quickly ignoring retards from other servers that you are in cross-realm groups with that are acting like dumb fucks. Anyway, like I said, this was about it for me for this video. I will hopefully return next Monday with something more. I had such a nice going where everything was just going nice with my talking and all that, but then boom, squashed like a bug. What I was trying to say was, hopefully return next Monday with another video that I can provide you with. I swear to God, I'm gonna kill someone. That I can provide you with. There we go. That was not me fapping, I was clapping. I'm clapping right now as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please show it by liking the video on YouTube. And if you liked this video as well, like I just said, please do check out our entire YouTube channel and consider subscribing if you like this video as well. This is Rogath out. I will see you hopefully next Monday. Hopefully, I hope so. I swear to God, I'll try to come up with something that I can provide you with.